Hello, everybody. San Diego Comic-Con is next month. It's officially next month. Where did the time go? We've got news on the parties. Not really a lot of the panels, but we got some stuff coming up. Plus, Comic-Con's Palm Springs was last weekend. We have a little report from there. Also, we met with Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund. That was very cool. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about this little movie called Solo. It's kind of taken a nosedive. We want to talk about why that is. Also, we have some very great guests with us this evening that are going to talk to us a little bit about professional cosplaying. It's always something that's on my mind. Anyways, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Almost as much fun as Deadpool 2. Not quite, but anyways, close. See, just pay attention.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The ConGuy, Comic-Con Prep Show.
There we go. We're starting off right tonight.
It's acapella. Can we all?
Yay! We're gonna party tonight.
Yeah.
It's the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. No, it's exciting. Exciting new hair, Kari. I really like it. It looks great. You too. Welcome to the show tonight. This is the ConGuy Comic-Con Prep Show. We come at you pretty regularly right now, leading up to San Diego Comic-Con, which is our biggest con of the year that we are all getting ready for. We got a lot of news about it tonight. A lot going on. And like we talked about just a few minutes ago when I messed up that cold open, we are going to be talking a little bit about Comic-Con Palm Springs.
No surprise.
They had the one-day mayhem preview. Me and Cheeseman were down there out in the hot desert, and it was hot and musty. There's a lot more going on out there more than just cactus and sand. It was awesome. We met Freddy Krueger himself, so that was kind of cool. And then we have some guests in the studio with us. Anyways, we've got a whole lot going on today. Please stick around if you have not yet. Subscribe to the channel. Give us some good reviews on iTunes there. And anyways, my name is Jim Frye, and I have a lot more people in the room with me.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Kari Lee.
Hi, I am Sara Katz-Scher.
And I'm Neil Williams.
Together you are
The Adventure Effect.
Nice.
What? I'm Katie.
Better known as
Poison
Ivy today. Yeah.
And I'm Bane, Gotham's Reckoning. Cheeseman on the couch here with theconguy.com.
All right.
JK.
And we have a silent guest in the room with us. Our very good friend Isaac would be visiting from Columbia.
MonsterTruckNinja.com.
That's right.
He does Batman videos.
Not Columbia the city, it's Columbia the country, down in somewhere down south.
Median, according to Entourage.
So he's one of the world's biggest nerds,
Beijing,
like the rest of us. So we're glad he's
Medellin.
here. Medellin.
Is how you really say it.
So thank you guys for joining us tonight. We do have a lot to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. First of all, I would love to ask anybody what's been going on. Anything that you guys want to share with us tonight? Anything exciting? Katie, I know you have something.
What are you hiding?
What's that text what you sent me this text this week from Zach?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that for a second. Yeah, Zachary Levi's been doing a lot of Q&As lately, and I follow him on Twitter, and one of them just caught my eye because someone asked him about Nerd HQ, and he said they're working on finalizing it this year.
For this year?
It's not official,
Yeah.
but I know last year they were absent, and a lot of us, I know I was really bummed about it because it's always a fun event, but he said that they're working on it, so, we'll see.
They're working on it.
That's really cool because
means probably
I can
yes.
find it.
Yeah, and that's really cool because it's not announced anywhere. Katie just so happened to be digging through the Twitter feed and said, "Hey, did you see this?" I'm like, "No, nobody's even talking about that."
That's
which is
why
really
you
cool.
find some great news, though, is like just digging through Twitter, and you're like, oh, "Did you hear about this?" And people are like, "What are you talking about?" You're like, "It's on Twitter. How did you not know?"
Oh, I know.
We also talk about they're gonna fill up that space and sell it, and it doesn't even matter that it hasn't even been announced yet, and it's next month.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He said nothing official yet, but still hard at work trying to make it happen for this year.
That's a definite maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
I take that as a yes.
And remember last year, although Nerd HQ did not happen, he was able to still throw a couple of parties there with the help of Sci-Fi, which he was hosting for them.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to be there this year. He's got this great big giant movie that he's filming, and Warner Brothers always shows up to promote. Have you guys been seeing all his pictures show up all over the?
Is that really him?
That's
like
him.
his muscles, or is he wearing those kind of like poofy outfit
Right, you
things
got a
get
bodysuit.
at like the Halloween costume stores where the little kids are all ripped because it's all padded? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like one of the
I don't know.
inflatable ones. He's got a little pump.
No, I think he's been, it's
He's
like
bulked out.
reasonable, but that was a
Yeah.
big concern a lot of people had. They're like, oh, he's
Those aren't
too
his muscles.
skinny.
I mean, they didn't like it when he was Fandral either, but He tended to
When he
do
was
it.
what?
In Thor, they were all like, "Oh, he's not blonde."
No, he
and
was
everything.
great in that.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
Except for his
But
hair.
everybody had their opinions then too.
And spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! We're going. Was that him that was killed off at the beginning of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was actually in the film. Just not some random blonde guy they decided to kill because he was on screen for like 10 seconds, right?
Yeah, he actually had someone tweeted him because he was like, "I'm finally watching Thor Ragnarok."
It saved a lot of money.
He was like, they were like,
And
"Oh,
budget.
By only
you
putting him
die."
in for
He
like
was
5
like,
seconds.
"Spoiler alert!"
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
No room in Infinity War.
we're going
for
to
him.
quickly jump
Too much
into
money.
our bulletin board, but before we do, I would love to introduce our guests a little bit more. If you guys can tell us a little bit about yourselves real quick, and then we're going to talk about a little bit more in detail towards the end of the show.
So we are the Adventure Effect, and we're an interactive storytelling and performance art production company. But the company is the two of us.
Yeah, it's a real big company.
But I say that
Just
because
the two
what
of
we
us.
do like goes into like we do cosplay, we do performance like at conventions, we do performance at like smaller venues, birthday parties, whatever. Like we'll host things. We hosted an After Dark like cosplay event in Denver a few years ago. We're all over the place, and we also have an Etsy. But what it all comes down to is we're all about having fun, going out. Like basically having a play date like you would have when you were like 3 years old.
Just making like every day, every little thing you do a little more exciting, you know, making it an adventure.
A lot of the times that's at Disneyland, but like when we did a road trip to Santa Fe last year and we brought our cosplays with us, we went and did an entire Doctor Who photo shoot on our cell phones, like just the two of us, like in the desert.
Nice.
We did like went to Meow Wolf as Dipper and Mabel from Gravity Falls and like pretended like we were exploring and everything. So like we really get into it and just play.
Well, we are so excited to have you guys with us tonight, and we're going to jump into your section a little bit later, but I just wanted the folks who are watching and listening to know exactly who it was. Who are these strangers sitting at the table with us? And also, I was talking with Sarah. I said, so glad you were here, and like Bernie introduced us. She goes, yeah, I live in the neighborhood. I figure I might as well just stop by.
We're literally a block away.
That's
like,
awesome from
our
the studio.
and our house, like
Nice.
just down the street.
That's always
We're on Willow
Like,
Crest,
oh, yeah,
literally.
All right, party there afterwards. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot to talk. There's quite a few events coming up, but if you are watching this on Monday night, June the 4th, you need to know that tomorrow, June the 5th, is when tickets for Star Wars Celebration go on sale at noon Central Standard Time. I think that's what CDT is, Central Daylight Time. I
Yeah,
know.
daylight.
Yeah.
Noonish, wherever you're at. It's going to be in New York. No, Chicago. I am completely wrong. It's going to be April 11th through the 15th, McCormick Place in Chicago, Illinois, which is, from what it's the third largest convention center in the United States. So that's it's going to be a big one this year.
Guess that's why they're on Central Time.
Yes. Duh. And I used to live in Chicago. You think I would know that?
Well, but now I'm going like, wait, that con floats. Like, do they does like this ticket sale time like match the location every year? Like,
I bet you does, because
Yeah.
when it was
Probably.
London,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
it's one of those strange cons. It's never in the same spot. It's always every 2
That's
years.
kind
There's
of cool though, because then it makes
Yeah.
it easier depending on where you live. You know, then it's like fair that, you know,
Yeah.
one year maybe it's easier for one group, and then another year other people can go.
And next year is going to be a big year for it. You know, leading up to the final Skywalker saga film coming out. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that little solo film
Wait,
in a
what's
second.
Skywalker?
Okay.
I don't. I'm confused.
What do you mean?
You said a final Skywalker. Is he in it?
It's anyways.
I'm like,
He got you.
Dead?
June 7th through the 10th, there is a Superman convention being held in Metropolis, Illinois. That's actually
Fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah.
can't make this up.
It's
Yeah.
the actual
Fun.
name. I wonder if they named themselves after the comic book.
Sure, why not?
It's
Yeah.
entirely
Someone's
likely.
just really excited that they're having that convention there, and they're like, we got it.
Well, they got Brandon
Yeah.
Routh is going to
Yeah.
be there, plus the cast of the new show Krypton on Sci-Fi Network, which
that's cool.
That's going to be really cool. Speaking of cool shows, June 8th through the 10th, the Supernatural Convention is happening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. June 9th through the 10th, New Orleans Comic-Con is happening. And June 9th through the 10th, something is not happening. New Jersey Comic-Con has been canceled.
Oh, bummer.
Ouch.
Leading into a saddening... is this a second or third con this year that's been canceled that we...
Second big one.
Second big one. I know...
I haven't heard anything about that one though, because the other one was all kinds of people talking about it.
That one
so.
caused quite an uproar. I don't think that uproar has ended yet. It's still all a flutter. June 22nd through 24th. This one's kind of new. The Fandemic Tour. It's in Sacramento. They're going to have another one later in the year in Houston. And if you look at the lineup of guests they already have, it's huge for a first-year convention. I think they're a first-year convention. I've never heard of the Fandemic Tour, But they're describing themselves as a very unique kind of convention. I don't even know what that means because I tried to find out. It was hard to figure out. And then, of course, in not 10 weeks, but in 6 weeks from this week is San Diego Comic-Con happening July 18th through 22.
It's right
Also
around the
for
corner.
the-
To start crafting.
Yeah.
4th of July weekend is Anime Expo in Los Angeles.
Oh, it's the biggest
yeah.
anime expo
Yeah.
in the country. Is there anything that I'm missing, Katie, that you're aware of, Kari, that you're aware of? Guys that I'm
Those
aware
were
of.
the two big ones.
Not that I know of. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Between
what I
now and San Diego. Once we're going to start.
Anime
Yeah.
Expo.
My
is the
mind's
big
just
one
on
that I'm
San
going.
Diego right now, so
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So, Katie,
Yes.
what did you do this weekend? It was really cool. I'm going to hear about it.
So I got to go to the AT&T Shape event.
Oh, neat.
That was hosted on WB Studios. I think it's the second year.
It was over at the Warner Brothers lot?
It was on the Warner Brothers lot. Basically, they have a film festival as well, and they accept short scripts. And if your script gets accepted, you get to film your short on the lot.
That's
So
awesome.
my friend from work, his name's Andy, he submitted a script, and 64 scripts were accepted. So each day, 32 film. So you're very crowded. Like, we were filming at this one
So
spot.
he was able to film on the lot
Yeah.
then?
So we
Very
had
nice.
we had a 3-hour time slot, so not very much time, but
Wow.
it was 11 to 2, and like we were filming here, and then like 20 feet away another film was filming. So you had a very small area, and they picked your location based off what your film was. And so we filmed a little like 4-page comedy sketch. I would say it's more like a sketch. He said it was written as like a sketch for like a show, like a SNL type show kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing. And it was just fun. It was a whole bunch of people from work because our work is having a film festival as well. And so he's going to like submit it for both. And so we all kind of...
Are you able to say where work is, or you prefer not to?
I'd prefer not to.
She works at one of the studios.
It's just safer that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got kind of like gonna submit it to both. So it was really fun. And then after that, we were allowed to go and wander the event. And we actually got a wristband for the next day, but I had to work on Sunday.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. Had a lot of exhibits about like tech and in the industry and like what's coming out, what's really hot right now. It was AT&T obviously that hosted it, but like there was the Red camera company, like they were there with a demo of their phone that they're releasing. So I got to see that, and that was a long line.
Wait,
and
Red Camera's releasing a phone?
yeah, they're releasing a phone. It's called Red Hydrogen 1.
So, like, you can film
Really?
on your red
yeah,
phone.
it has technology like the Red cameras, but it films
Huh.
it films in 3D that you don't need glasses to view.
Do you
So
have to
From that
do the
phone.
whole Red Rocket
Yeah.
thing where you got to convert the footage to even like
I have
watch
no
or
idea.
edit
All I
it
know is
and-
like it was crazy. Like they were saying on the ad, it was saying holographic phone because that's like kind of what it looks like.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
it was
Sorta
really cool.
Like the 3DS kind of
Yeah, but
situation.
more
Like you
high-tech.
have to view it on there,
Yeah.
but that's cool.
But their work, like it was crazy. And I mean, I don't do a lot of filming on my phone, but they decided to do it because so many people do film on their phone, and it's a one-stop place. You can email it and everything from there. So, and then I saw a couple other like face capture type technology things, and I didn't get a lot of them because the lines were long, and it was like 95 degrees that day.
Yeah.
But it was also fun because they did the studio tour for everybody that was there. So I went on that because I normally have to pay for it. So I did that and got to see like the prop house and all
That's
that
pretty
stuff.
cool.
And then I went and got to do like the Friends, like they have the Central Perk set, and I was excited about that. So it was a good day. And it was nice. The whole new area is really nice. Like I know it's a few years old now, but that second part that you get to walk through that has the Friends set and everything.
Now,
is
were
cool.
were they previewing any shows coming on for this fall or
I
anything?
don't think so because
Okay.
it was mostly. I know there was a screening room for AT&T, but I don't know what it was because I didn't go in there.
AT&T, which is in the process of merging with Time Warner, right?
There was a Time Warner thing there too, so I don't know exactly, but that would make sense. But yeah, so and then they had a carnival on Saturday night from 6 to 8. I was way too tired to stay, but you got like 2 free drink tickets to it. And I saw online there was like Stilt Walker, so I think they had like games out so people could like hang out on the WB
You
lot. and
didn't
have
eat
fun.
and run?
Well, that's pretty cool.
So,
That's pretty.
yeah.
And how do you? So the films that were filmed on the lot, are they gonna have a festival for that later? Is that? at a later time?
I know it's like a competition. My friend said like you can win prizes or something, but don't really know what it was or how many or what they get. So, but either way, it was a really fun day. He ran a really smooth set. We got everything we needed, and it was just fun.
Very
And how
cool.
many people get to say like they filmed their short on WB
Yeah,
lot
even
for,
just
for free?
the opportunity to film on the lot, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
And the event I believe was $100 if you didn't like
Win.
get
Win.
what we got
Yeah.
through.
Get in.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
yeah.
Well, congratulations to you and your friend.
Yeah.
Fun.
That sounds like a really cool thing. Kari, I'm going to put you on the spot. Didn't you just film a film or something?
I did. Yeah, I did. I participated in the Collaboration Filmmakers Challenge. You get 2 weeks to make a movie. You have to help another team, and another team has to help you. And you're all, it's three misses, 6.5, and you all have to utilize a quote that everybody's given. You don't have to use a quote directly in it, but everybody needs to be inspired by it, so it's not like you made that movie last year kind of idea. And I'm going to paraphrase the quote because I'm like, But the quote essentially is, every time my friends succeed, I die a little inside.
Oh, cool.
You know, right?
Cool.
Yeah, that's a little
So
intense.
True. Yeah.
Interesting direction you could go with that. I went more optimistic. So yeah, I made it. We filmed everything. We filmed it really quickly, which was great. Similar idea here. Having an easy, fun set is such a relief. Because yeah, we started at like 9 and we were done before 5. And
Wow.
actually it started at like 9:30. But it was a very small group of us. And I really like what we got. And we find out on Wednesday if we get in.
I love that kind of a
is
production
fun.
day because most production days are, they start at like, 5 in the morning and they go until 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, well, that was us trying to figure it out, and I kind of was like, well, we know we wanted daytime, and then parking was interesting because we filmed in Koreatown, and we're like, well,
Nice.
it was street cleaning, so then we like ran over and filmed in the mall, guerrilla style, but it worked out okay. And then we filmed like a little bit in a park, and so it's just like perfect timing. And then we went over back to the mall and got food. But yeah, it's just like when you're working with people, your friends, and everybody just kind of has a chill time. And the thing with this kind of festival is you shouldn't let it stifle your creativity, but you need to be realistic on what you can achieve. Like.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, I'm going to have a crowd with 100 extras, and I'm going to have special effects makeup. Because it's like, you're not going to get that done. Like, we have one main character. She interacts with, like, 2 people. And then I casted myself because that was just easier, too. Because I had somebody else, and then they were sick. And I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then we need social media photos, and that's perfect. Because I'm like, I'll just use mine because I got all my permission done.
There you go.
You know, so things like that. Or, you just... you get more creative on trying to make those things work instead of being too crazy, because otherwise you're just like, you're not going to get it done. Because that's happened before. I worked on some last year and they didn't finish in time because they were trying to do too much, and you're like, ugh. But yeah, we find out 2 days from now if we get in, and then on Friday is the screening at the Harmony Gold on Sunset, which is a really cool theater.
Fantastic. That's a really
I'll
cool
let y'all
theater,
know
yeah.
if we get in or not.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just congratulations to making it. I mean, that's like, you've made a film.
Right?
Yeah, too many people, it's just like, yeah, let's do the thing. And I'm like, no, that's something I really liked. And it came out really beautiful this year, too, which is great. And I think we have a really nice story that I'm like, oh, I want to see what other people think of it later. And then, not film-wise, but I just cut all my hair off and colored it.
I think it looks
is-
great.
yeah. Thank
It looked so cool.
You guys didn't know before, but it was
I
like...
know, I was going to say, I'm like, it's so different than it was.
Let's say mid-back, all brown, and then, like, I just had the teal streak on a side. So
This is
now
like a
it's
life change.
mid-bob
Yeah.
and blue ombre.
Looks
Yes, it's a
great.
big
She's
change.
full rock star now.
Full on.
Full
rock.
rock star.
Full rock
Someone
star.
commented on Twitter. They said it's proto-molecule blue. So if anybody's watching The Expanse, I was like, oh, I like that comparison. That's creepy and cool. But yeah,
Expanse got saved.
I know. Amazon Prime picked it up. I
Yeah.
was so excited because I'm on that after show as well.
It's exciting. All right. So, Anthony, we are going to watch the first video. And, Cheeseman, can you fill us in on Adventures with ConGuy at Palm Springs?
What adventures? What are you talking about? I'm kidding. We went to Comic-Con Palm Springs.
Comic-Con
They
Palm
kind of put
Springs.
it at the front.
Yep. Here we
I've
go.
discovered, but yeah, we're watching a little video here of our quick adventure.
Oh, fun.
Jim.
There's the branding.
Cheeseman.
There we are.
Luke.
That's me with
Oh.
Darth Vader getting choked out.
This was
look
a
at
symphony
those.
playing Star Wars.
Oh,
it was,
that's
I love
so
this.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
As another-
Darth
Violins
Vader.
with lightsaber colors.
I know, it was so great.
Some
And then
cosplayers.
that's our friend Darian,
Looking
who's
real uncomfortable.
and this special guest.
Ah.
That was Robert Englund's
Robert
voice.
Englund is so great.
Ooh, wow, out
he
in the
played the
sun.
actual.
Producer of the Nightmare on
I
Elm
did not
Street
like
right
the
there.
sun part. Yeah, I wanted to talk to her so bad. And this is Matt Ryan from Constantine. He was also out there.
nice.
Yeah, this panelist, really good panel. We get to sit nice and close.
It was a fantastic panel. Robert Englund was so animated, and we're going to show you
They
something
signed
just a second.
autographs and took pictures with people.
This was the guy who did the makeup for Walking Dead. He has since moved out to the desert and is looking for new work now. So.
Oh,
Cool.
And then this guy had a book, The Alternate. Luke's got
comic
it.
he did, and we check it out. He might come on the show sometime.
Yeah.
Here's some more just cosplayers.
It was a really, and the thing that's cool about this
A lot of
event,
horror at this one.
It was a
actually.
very horror-infused event.
I was going to
Ooh,
say,
that
it
sounds
seems
great.
like your life is being threatened in about 2/3 of these photos.
And here's this weird party they had. The after party was in the middle of a mall.
And they had a costume
An outdoor
contest.
mall. Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
They had the original Jen
Jen from the
and the hologram.
Samantha Newark.
Yeah.
And then SpongeBob did a performance. The guy who voiced him.
Tom Kenny in the high sleeves. It was really great. SpongeBob got a little salty. Let's just say it that way.
Oh,
Oh, fun.
But again, like we always say, you know, like when you come to these smaller conventions, you get something special. Like, I mean, Robert Englund, like who would think you could get like that close sitting up? Because if it was at Comic-Con or something else, that would be like packed out. But sometimes when you go to these smaller cons, you get great guests and everything. And even the SpongeBob guy, like to be able to just like be right up there, like it's more personal and smaller with some of these.
And we got a
ones.
comic.
Yeah.
We met it. I love it when you can meet the comic creators. We met this guy. He had a comic book called The Alternate, which was a great idea for a comic book. Excuse me. And he it's like a superhero who ends up in an alternate universe, and really got to know the guy, and it was very cool. We'd love to have him on. He's going to be we're going back out to Palm Springs Comic-Con Palm Springs, because there's also a Palm Springs Comic-Con. There's two of them.
oh, that's confusing.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
that's very cool.
One's very fan-led, and this one I think is the one that's got a little bit more corporate sponsorship behind it. And I think Bernie Bregman was telling us it's sort of associated with Stan Lee's LA Comic-Con. Those folks, I think,
Which is now a different
they're changing the name.
beyond something.
Yeah.
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 This one's small enough they don't have to change their name just yet.
Wait, they're changing the name again?
Yeah.
Everybody has to get rid of the word Comic-Con or change it,
Okay.
not just
Yeah.
a hyphen anymore. And
They were good with Kamikaze.
Right?
They
Yes.
should
And then
have
you
left it.
went
I
into
like
the danger
Kamikaze,
zone.
yeah.
And
It's a
and it
good
was
name.
unique.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we
And then
still
the
need the ConGuy
octopus?
show?
Like-
Do we need to drop the Comic-Con from the Comic-Con Press show?
oh, we got to start
Yeah.
hanging
Yeah.
on
Oh my
the tape.
goodness.
We'll just get a Sharpie.
It's
and
like
we'll just-
Super Bowl.
They're not
Same
watching,
kind
are
of
they?
problem.
So Luke, tell about we're going to watch a little clip from the panel. What is this that we're about to see?
We're going to see Robert Englund. He was talking about, at one point, they were entertaining the idea of Jason and Freddy versus Ash.
Yep, here we go.
This
Let's
whole
just,
thing. And
The Evil Dead
Robert Englund's
Yeah.
fame.
Tell us a little bit about that himself.
all right.
Mistakes are made in Hollywood. Money's left on the table.
This is Robert Englund speaking.
Freddy versus Jason was absolutely phenomenally successful, both domestically and internationally, and continues to be a huge success. And every time there's a new format, it comes out. I mean, you put a 12-year-old boy from 2018 in a man cave with a 50-inch flat screen, and you put on the Blu-ray digitally remastered Freddy versus Jason. It looks as good as any movie made today. It's that good. And we were supposed to do Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, and I mentioned that my most recent director, Alexander Aja, is working with Sam Raimi now. Sam was brought in. Sam was the king of Hollywood then. And Bob Shea brought Sam in
Windy out there.
because he'd just done Spider-Man and Bruce Campbell, and there was some serious talk about Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. But Sam was probably equal to Bob Shea at that time because of the success of Spider-Man. And Sam was very stubborn. He wanted Bruce Campbell to win. And Bob thought, no, we can't have Freddy die 2 movies in a row. This is how Bob Shea thinks. Yeah, I can't have Freddy die too. I felt like if I'd have been in the room, if I'd have been a fly in the wall, I'd have said, Bob, you resurrected me with dog pee. You know, you resurrected Freddy with dog urine. You can figure out a way to keep the franchise alive. But I had this vision of the poster, and it was Bruce Campbell with his shirt off, with a wind machine on him, and he had, you know, he had his 50-year-old abs all freshly done, you know, with makeup and, you know, like the 300, you know, that airbrush makeup on his abs, and he had Jason in a headlock in this hand. And he had in this arm Freddy in a headlock, and he would say, Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, keeping the world safe from sequels.
You know, I never knew they were planning this
Yeah, I'd
film.
not
Did
heard
you
of
know
that.
about this, Kari? I would have loved to have seen that. But from what we all, were you the one telling us, or was it Lucretia that
Probably Lucretia.
Yeah.
Because she was on the Ash panel.
Bruce Campbell has
Hmm.
now said that the end of that show is the end of Ash. So talk about Ash.
It's been a long time.
He's
But
I guess, and he was a little bit bitter about the show being canceled because not
Sure.
enough people are watching, and then
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Let's save the show," and Bruce is like, "Well, why didn't you watch the show?" You know?
Right?
So that's a good
save
point
the
to
show.
make.
Not shave the show. That's it.
All right, so Palm Springs Comic Con. Oh my gosh, Comic Con Palm
Comic-Con
Springs.
Comic-Con Palm Springs.
It comes up
Yep.
later in August. I think 23 through 25 is going to be the full Comic Con out there, and it's going to be a big one. So it's a good one. We'll have the link on our site. You can sign up. All right, we have some San Diego Comic Con news we want to jump into real
Dun,
quick.
dun, dun.
Bum, 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 bum. And so, Anthony, I think we have it's one of the first pictures right there. That is the souvenir book. That's the book that you will be getting at San Diego
Very
Comic Con this
pretty.
It's a
year,
good looking book. Yeah.
celebrating 10 years of Marvel, and as we of Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yes.
not comic books. And as we all
It's
know,
only 10
Crazy to
years,
go.
huh?
It's been 10 years since
Yeah.
like first
Since
Iron Man,
Iron Man.
came out.
Yeah.
What?
is that nuts? Is that a
Madness.
beautiful cover?
Yes.
And
Oh.
not that one just yet.
Yeah. I skipped ahead.
Yeah, that'll be the next one. Anyways, so you guys can get that this year. They're also going to be selling.
It's still me.
Yeah, I don't think we're showing those just
Does
yet.
Chris Evans get to be up front?
Well, he
Captain America.
Is he gonna die?
The
Is that what
first
this is
Avenger.
about?
The first.
The
I
first,
think
there
they're
you
just
go.
sizing those up.
Yeah.
A little bit
They
more
have to be-
news.
He's the oldest.
They're in order.
Well, Thor's
Back
probably
to
older.
Comic Con.
Back to San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
So parking is now open for everybody except for Kari. And Kari, you never.
I know where all the free parking is.
She will not pay for parking.
For pretty much any convention.
That's a
It's a
is
skill.
that's a very important
Get your
skill.
number later.
They text me and I was like, I did a photo and I was like, park here. And then
Yep.
I found it.
No, like I'm from New York and I won't pay for parking if I don't have to because my
Right?
entire system is don't pay for parking, and all the money you save pays for the one ticket that you inevitably are going to get.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Katie,
It's decent logic.
have you heard the Supernatural party?
The Carry On My Wayward cocktails. I
Yes.
saw that you said that they're having it again. I hadn't heard.
Tickets are
anything
now
about
on
it.
sale, and they're not cheap. I think they're around $50 a pop.
Yeah, I think they were.
For the low
I
ones.
think they were $50 when I went 2 years ago too.
Yeah.
Is that like drinks included?
Yeah, I bought 4 tickets that
I
year,
would hope so.
$200,
You
and I
get,
missed
when
the
I
party.
went, you got 2 drink vouchers.
Okay,
But I
that's
went with a girl
not
that didn't.
That's not a bad
Too
cover.
bad.
But I also went with a friend that doesn't drink. So.
Oh, bonus.
So you got really drunk.
And then yeah, they have like a raffle, and you can get raffle tickets, and they give away like a whole bunch of stuff. Like
Purple Nurples.
I won a like a board, the Supernatural Clue game. Like they give away
Nice.
stuff, and the drinks are fun names and stuff. That
I
have to
won
be
nothing
Supernatural.
because I spent $200 on tickets and missed it. I
Yep.
showed up as the
Oh,
doors are closing.
And they had like a lot of food, like finger food.
Yeah.
Like, always
Oh,
walking
okay.
around
Drinks
and everything.
and food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not
Yeah,
bad.
they had some, yeah.
For $50.
Like small bites, I guess. would be
Can we
the
please stop rubbing this in? I missed it. Okay.
No, we're just validating the
The
cost.
whole
Like
cast
at
was
first, I'm like,
there,
oh, my
this
shook
seems like a
everybody's
good deal.
hands, and
Like-
signed autographs.
And you got a swag bag. It was cool.
Oh,
Swag, free
that's
swag.
pretty cool. All right. Are
I
you,
want my
Kari,
swag.
are you on the Magicians after show?
I am, and I just saw. I'm like, oh yes, they'll be there. Yay!
Magicians
yes.
are going to be back. I heard that they were possibly being canceled, but this year, but then they got saved. Is that true? Because they're doing really good in the ratings, I thought.
Yes, I think theirs was more. Maybe they just started later,
Yep.
but it was doing well. And then that one's an excellent show, so I'm excited that they'll be back. And then I also do the Winona Earp panel,
Yep.
so I'm like, oh yay! They had a really fun party last year, which it was like a lot of just fans, and there was also press. They had a lot of the cast there. They had, I think it was pretty much open bar and food, and they had donuts, of course. Big part of the show, donuts. But that one was really darn cool. So I'm gonna have to look up and be like, message some people, be like, hey.
Since you're on the sci-fi kick, have you heard of Deadly Class?
No, I'm at. Well,
I haven't. It's a show I'm not.
I don't think so.
It
I
hasn't
feel
come
I have
on
to
yet.
go look it up.
Yeah,
but-
it's a brand new show this fall, but they're going to be down at San Diego Comic-Con, kind of kicking off Deadly Class. Anthony, are you familiar with Deadly Class at all?
What's there?
No.
Okay.
Can't say I
Anyways,
am.
it's a new show that's coming this year. Also, it
my God,
looks
go look it up.
Hopcom, which is basically a big beer party, is Thursday from 6 to 10 at Stone Brewery. And then also Bernie Bregman is having.
It's based on a comic book. It's horror action genre.
Yeah, it's more of a horror
Rewind.
action, which is kind of cool. That's deadly class. Funko is doing a Conan Funko Pop, so it looks like Conan is coming back.
Nice.
Cool.
And last but not least, Bernie, who
I'll tell you after.
He texted. He was on the text when he texted us, right? So I guess we're okay to announce this.
I don't know, because his text did say like this hasn't been announced yet. So I think we can probably tease that Bernie is for sure throwing a party on Wednesday night, which is very rare. And honestly, like, I literally am so bored every Wednesday night. We get down, we do like an hour of the floor, and then I'm like, I'm good. I did all my shopping. What do we do now?
Kari?
Well, we got another party.
Well,
The Hero Within people and Crazy for Comic Con people, we are looking at doing another event on opening, which would be Wednesday and then on Saturday. So we're locking down those details.
Nice.
But it was fun. You guys came
Party
back.
hop.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
House of Blues,
Yep.
and just stay tuned for those kind of details because we're still ironing them out. But it's always just like a nice, more just get together and actually like talk with people and meet
Nothing
people
too,
at the
like, crazy,
beginning.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like super chill.
We
Not
usually go to the Ellis in Wonderland bar on that Wednesday
Ah.
because
Yeah.
it's the only night that it
You can
usually,
get into it.
traditionally, isn't taken out for a private party. And we love that bar.
we'll just come by after. We went pretty late last
And tell you what,
time.
we are going to end on Solo. So if you're watching this, we are going to end on Solo. But I would like to jump in, since we're talking about Alice in Wonderland Bar, and we're talking about cosplay, and we're talking about Comic-Con. We would love to hear a little bit about you guys and your story, how you got involved in this crazy cosplay things, and how can people get involved. I know Kari's going to have a lot of questions because this is, and so is Katie. This is not my strong suit, as you can tell.
You could totally cosplay too.
Cheeseman does.
Anybody can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Fill us in. What's your guys' story?
We met a little over 5 years ago. I had done a little bit of cosplay before we met, and
Nightcrawler was his, like, staple.
started out doing
What was it?
Nightcrawler.
You did Nightcrawler?
Yeah, which
Full blue, everything,
Yeah.
like on point.
Oh, nice.
which is one of my
Painted
all-time
or
favorite
bodysuit?
Painted.
Nice.
Painted. I did sort of a variant where the only skin showing was the face, which made that a lot easier.
And when I met him, I was looking on his Facebook and I was like, oh, he cosplays Nightcrawler. And I was like, hey, you should come hang out with me because Len Wein used to be one of my best friends and he created that character. So I was literally weeks after knowing him, was like, let's just go to Len's house and have dinner. And he's just like,
Just sitting there having,
serious?
he was completely in
For
shock.
those who
mental
don't know,
breakdown.
can you explain who you're talking about?
So Len Wein is a comic book legend. He created Nightcrawler as well as Wolverine, if you've heard of him.
Storm.
Swamp Thing.
Wait,
and
Logan?
Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah, literally, he just created so many amazing characters, and he was like my California dad. So when I first met
That's fantastic.
this guy,
Yeah.
I have some
And
cool friends.
he was such an amazing man. Just
He was the
light
sweetest
up
human
any
being.
room.
I can't even talk about him. I'm just gonna get emotional because I miss him. But he passed away earlier this year. If you're not familiar with him,
That is, oh, God rest his soul. So
yeah,
sorry.
literally the sweetest human being on earth. I can't even begin.
So at my first Comic-Con, I actually was cosplaying as Nightcrawler.
a rare occasion. That's how long ago that we were not matching each other. This
Yeah.
doesn't happen anymore.
Very, very early on, and she's
were
like,
just
"Oh,
walking
I'm
in."
texting Len. Like he said, he's walking in right now too."
You'd already met him.
And yeah, I met him in
he's not a
person,
stranger.
but I'm excited to meet
he's,
Len
like,
in
in the
costume
thing.
as his character. And we walk up, and I was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" He goes, "This looks good," and I'm just like,
He's trying not to pass
like,
out.
freaking
and I'm
out.
just totally, I was like, that Len loved everything. So I'm just
Yeah.
yeah, this is cool, whatever. And he's just like, so, but that was also the first con, that Comic-Con was the first time we ever cosplayed together because one of the things that brought us together as friends, besides just being of one mind at all times and freaking everybody out, we both love Doctor Who. So at that con, I was still primarily cosplaying Rose Tyler, who was the 9th and 10th Doctor's companion, if you're not a Doctor Who fan. And
if they're not a Doctor Who fan, what you just said won't make any sense.
Yeah, true. One of the first of the new
if you don't watch
series.
it, but you might, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he cosplays the 11th Doctor, so we didn't really match so much as could like roll together. And we had another friend with us who also
fan
cosplays.
fiction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
So, but now
sure
I
it happened.
cosplay River Song, who actually does appear with the 11th Doctor. So we like can play off of each other a little more, which is nice because that's really what we do. Is like we like bounce around and we do what cosplay is really named for, like emphasis on play rather than the costume part of cosplay. Because a lot of people, like at least in the United States in particular, are a little more like, this is my costume. I put a lot of work into it. It is beautiful. But that, you know, they're modeling their work or they're modeling someone else's work, and that's what they're doing. Which, like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's just not what we do. We like specifically choose the characters that we cosplay to perform.
And Anthony, can you go ahead and I think we have like 5 or 6 photos that that we kind of pulled off to give some examples that we can show while they're speaking here.
So
Yeah.
that is me in what I would call a Disney bound, because I'm not wearing a wig. I'm not wearing anything particular. Just wearing
A little more casual.
Yeah,
and just kind of
leggings.
almost regular clothes.
so I'm wearing like those are Think Geek leggings. I don't know if they still sell them.
And for those who aren't watching but are listening, this is Han Solo.
Yes,
Yes.
I am. So I am, and not only Han Solo, but I am Han Solo sitting in the Millennium Falcon on the Disney cruise ship, where they have like a quarter at least of the Millennium Falcon there.
That's awesome.
So we
That's so
brought like
cool.
I brought that, and I brought us a Leia outfit with me, and he brought Han Solo, and we went and like just shot in the actual cockpit. Like you can, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna nerd out for a second because like it is like one of the coolest things I've ever done because you sit down and you like punch it and then the screen lights up
hit
and
the
they
hyperdrive.
have like
So
4
cool.
different locations from Star Tours, including the original Star Tours. Like
Which
they
you can't
have
ride
the
anymore.
trench run from the original Star Tours, and I almost started crying like sitting there doing
was
that because I
beautiful.
miss original Star Tours that much. So. So I do like we do like the casual Disney bound type
Yeah,
stuff.
this is a little more.
Okay.
That's
we
like
said,
me on
Disney
a
bound and
Thursday.
cosplaying.
That's me at Dapper Day.
Yeah.
You know, you
Who's this
can't see
character?
the skirt, but I am actually Disney bounding as Professor Owl, who is best known to at least this generation as being the mascot from the Disney sing-along videos.
Oh.
If you
Yes.
can picture that
Yeah.
opening.
So you
Yeah.
can't see the
Come
skirt
along
like
and
she
sing
said.
along with your
That's the
favorite
guy.
Disney song.
Exactly.
So he
Okay.
made me an
Yeah,
amazing
that guy.
poodle skirt with all of the instruments that he like picks up in the like
cute.
yeah.
Very cool.
I love
It's a
it.
cool color wig too.
Yeah.
You know,
Right?
just-
Yeah.
It was from
Blue
a
fan to another.
Eva hair. I think I got that one.
Nice.
And then the next one?
This is both of
Another
us.
Dapper
This
Day.
is from
There's
another
both,
Dapper
well.
Day. And this one is definitely one more where we got to play a little more. We chose these characters.
We were in a group
Disney
of
bounding.
Winnie the Pooh characters.
Yeah, a whole Winnie the Pooh crew. There was like 10 of us. But I was Rue
And
of
I'm
Kinga
Lumpy.
and Rue, and she's Lumpy, the
Heffalump.
Heffalump from the Heffalump movie.
Like I said, if we're not matching, like we don't really know what to do with ourselves because it's like, okay, we're in a 12-person group, but at some point we won't be with them. So like we want to match when we
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
away.
yeah.
That's
Sure.
very cool. I love that.
It's a great photo. You guys look so happy.
I love this one.
Yeah, so this is
That's
we're
cosplay
looking at
for
a
us.
photo of us as Peter and Wendy, and this
Amazing
is a
photo
little
by
bit more
Reverse Save.
what we do in the play portion of the cosplay.
I'm just gonna put this out there. Him as Peter Pan is my favorite thing that he cosplays.
Your hair looks so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's-
Thank you.
Are
I
you
like
Robin Williams Hook Peter Pan?
Yes,
a
that's what I'm
little
like.
bit.
Totally
I'm
get
somewhere in
that vibe.
between.
Okay.
We drew inspiration from literally like all
From
of our favorite
Hook,
Peters.
from one of the parades
From
where Peter
Disneyland.
Pan in Disneyland,
We
where he
took
appears.
a little inspiration
and
from
then-
Mary Martin Peter Pan, like
and Mary
everything.
Martin, the original.
Wow.
We know our source material.
Yeah, exactly.
That is Bangarang.
Yeah, straight up. No, we're like hardcore Peter Pan fans.
Yeah.
That's like probably our number one fandom together. I want to
Yeah.
say.
I had
Definitely.
Hook figures and the little boat thing they were on as
Oh,
well.
that's awesome.
Where are you
Yeah.
guys at?
Where was this? This
Seal
is
Beach.
Oh yeah, Seal Beach, out on one of
think.
the like protrusions of rocks,
Okay,
whatever
yeah,
those
yeah.
are called.
That's part of like what we do though as like the Adventure Effect. We like are really good at location scouting because we'll like look ahead at like this was a planned shoot, but we'll also look ahead like where are we going? Like we're going home to I'm from New York. We're going home to New York in a few weeks, and it's like okay, like we have this company, we make shirts and things like that. It's like, are we gonna make any Hamilton stuff? We're going to the Hamilton Grange. Like we look and go, what can we shoot there? And
Yeah.
there, we had so much fun.
There
at
you are,
Comic-Con
Back
as
San
well.
Diego
to
Comic-Con.
more and
Wait,
yeah,
another
this is
Peter
San
Pan
Diego
one.
Comic Con. This is Peter and Wendy again, and the first time we went out officially as Peter and Wendy, we got almost because the first time was at WonderCon. And we,
is, like,
we
my
get
favorite
out,
con now.
and she's like looking off to the left
Okay,
somewhere.
so we've
at,
just gone through security. and I have come up with this way of having, you know, like as a woman, I need, you know, a purse. And I don't have pockets usually. This dress does have pockets, but I'm putting my phone away. I'm putting his phone away because he can't put a phone in those pants.
Yeah,
Says Peter Pan. He's got basically wearing
Those are
tights.
snug pants.
So I'm like, I've just gone through security, and I'm just folding everything into what I do is I have themed things that I use as purses. So I've got a little sewing box that I'm carrying around. So I'm like, neatly folding everything away in my sewing box, and I look up, and Peter's just gone. And like we were having a normal conversation as Sarah and Neil, like seconds earlier, going through security.
But then
and
I asked
look
Peter,
up,
I see, hey, here's some kid running around. I'm going to go play with him.
I look up and he's literally gone. He's like playing hide and seek. He's like actually hiding behind a tree. And I'm immediately like, oh, Peter. But also I'm wearing like, little slip-on flats. So my shoes are like flopping off my feet as I try to run after him. I'm like, this is what today's going to be like.
Yep. And it was basically that all day running around like... adults are fine, whatever.
We'd
but
rather hang out with kids all day.
Yeah, kids are amazing, and we just spent all day playing Following the Leader. And
When we hit like con burnout, like day 3 or 4 of like a weekend, we have literally looked at each other and been like, I don't want to
Only
talk
kids.
to any adults today. Can we only
kids.
talk to children? And we're like, yeah, that's what today is.
So the Peter Pan is so fitting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Well, and that's why I love him as Peter so much, because he gets into that character and like I'm looking at actual Peter Pan. Like he's gone. It's
Do you
like me as
guys-
Alice. Like
Any inspiration from the Peter Pan and the Pirates cartoon?
the Jake and the Neverland Pirates,
No,
or
it's
the
Peter
different-
Pan and the Pirates
actual,
from
like the
1990 to 91
watched
and
it,
then
the
92.
cartoon.
I'm going to say I did not watch
I
it.
never watched that. It must have.
They have an
No,
episode
like,
where
I'm
Wendy
sure it was
turns
a
into a
blast.
mermaid.
Ooh,
Oh.
we'd probably love this. Like
That- yeah.
I was
really
watching
good.
I'll have to
Pirates of
look into it.
Darkwater around
Peter
then,
Pan
which like
and
no one's
Pirates.
ever heard of. But like, yeah, I missed that.
It was a good one, and it was one of those like it's essentially a knockoff Peter Pan.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, it was probably already out of copyright at that
Oh,
point.
yeah.
So like,
Oh yeah. It's one of those you watched it on TV when you were a little kid or you missed it.
Anthony, are there any
there was
more
an Alice,
pictures?
not Wonderland. There was an Oz show like that. I was
Oh
thinking
yeah.
of, that I was like,
So kind of a similar.
Oh, yeah,
This
Peter Pan
one,
stuff.
This one was not so much about play, but we did a whole big group.
Bernie came on a little bit and was mentioning this, but
Okay,
if you guys
yeah.
could fill us in. Yeah.
So this is the photo is a cover of the magazine Prince Boy, which is a play off of Playboy.
Yeah.
We did a whole group of I want to say 8 or 9 guys dressed as the Disney princes as Playboy bunnies.
and when we say
Yes.
as Playboy bunnies, we mean with like the scalloped corset and everything.
Yeah.
Did you
This
guys
was
wear
like
that at
what they would have
Wondercon?
worn if they. Yes.
yeah.
I did see you.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah.
So that was our
was
weird
great.
idea, and
You look
I had
great,
to. This
Neil.
is like one of
Thank you. The wig really.
This is one of the. Oh, he was Philip.
Yes, I was
My
Philip.
favorite.
but you guys had a reason for doing this as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it
So,
was-
well,
it
first of all,
was-
this was like one of the only ideas I've ever had to convince him was a good idea, because he was like, "Are we really doing this?" I was
I
like,
mean,
"No,
it got
but
pretty
here's
racy.
why."
The covers did. Yeah.
Yes, we really went for it. But our goal with this project was actually to start a discussion about sexual consent and sexual harassment at conventions, which is
Happens
something
a lot,
that
unfortunately.
conventions have been trying to address this, but there is no uniform like plan, system, anything for how to handle that. And we were like, okay, we're going to go out and we're going to start this conversation and loop that in. So every cover that we did for this series has at least a mention of consent to keep that on message.
Or of
and-
like self-empowerment or of like anti-harassment. I mean, if you look, this one is Tinkerbell on the cover of Prince Boy, and the first article title is "Clap If You Believe in Consent," which, Tinkerbell, you bring her back to life by clapping. So we thought that was a pretty fitting.
And since we only have one cover, where can they see all the rest of these covers?
These are all up on The Adventure Effect on our Instagram and on our Facebook page.
Fantastic.
And also the prints, if you want them, are prints, not princes, are available for purchase on Etsy.
On our Etsy, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you were showing us your
yeah.
Yeah, so
stuff.
it kind of started as an extension of kind of wanting to play. So we're like, oh, we're going to go to Disney World. We want to put together like a Disney band of this or a costume of this. And we found a website where we can work. They work with Etsy.
Well, and now we used to work with our friends who have their own company. What did they rebrand as? It's
I
like,
don't know. They used to be the Village House.
it's like Castle Cravings.
Castle
So we used to
Cravings,
work
okay.
with them, and we had a very happy division with them. And they said, like, we're going a different direction than all the like Disney inspired stuff that you guys want to do. So you know, they kind of gave us their blessing to run with it, and we really appreciate that because they actually gave us some of our designs back that we had done for them.
Yeah, but it started out as just wanting to Disney bound, wanting some costume pieces, like, oh, I need these leggings, but nobody makes them. Oh, I found this website where I can just make my own. So Sarah, this heck of a post. Sarah's actually wearing, we did a series that looked kind of like...
It's really cool looking.
They're sweater print leggings. They're like winter print leggings, which is like a fashion trend.
Yeah, like kind of almost like the ugly sweater kind of vibe.
But we did a whole series of them. This is the Neverland pair, but the rest are all princess inspired.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing more eventually. But basically what we've aimed to do is marry like fashion and our fandoms together. So it's a little more discreet. It's not costumey. It's just like, if you just glance at these leggings, they're just going to look like leggings that I could have bought at like any store.
Green pattern leggings.
It's not until you get a little closer that you go like, that's the second star to the right. Like, that's Skull Rock.
Well,
That's
even
cool.
in your shirt too, it's like.
So my shirt, if you're listening, my shirt says "Wine is my happy thought" and has the little second star to the right on it.
That's
It's
awesome.
like, ha ha.
And we also have another one that's
Deep
coffee
cut.
is my happy thought. For those of the coffee addicts in the house.
So we like the idea of doing
pot of
stuff that's
coffee
not
every day.
like this is like the kind of stuff you could get at Target, but themed to our fandom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can kind of like bring those contemporary fashion ideas together with your fandom stuff, and that's like what we're aiming to do.
And it's all built in a way that you can Disney bound it. So the Wine is my happy thought is we print it on a green shirt, and then we print it. I think we're also going to do a blue shirt, so you can do Peter or Wendy, you know, in that.
Yeah, in these styles, because it's like if you're building like a Disney bound, you want those colors, but then it's like, well, I don't want to be generic. Like maybe I don't want to do the same bound that I've done a million times before, because I have a cami in every color from Forever 21. But at a certain point, all my bounds look identical. So I was like, you know, stuff like this, stuff that like if I was drawing fan art of Tinkerbell, like I would draw her in this shirt if I was doing like like hipster Tink or like whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Kari and Katie, as we kind of wrap up this part of the show, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask or?
Yeah, we didn't talk about costuming
Or, like,
too
how we
much,
get
but if you
into
have any
cosplay and all that,
costuming
yeah.
questions or anything.
I can't think of anything, but I also have a headache from my wig.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
know.
Loose
You have a
fitting
piece
wig
of
that
hair
doesn't squeeze the
hanging
head
on
too
your
tightly.
mic too. It's like.
Oh no.
Well, I know
There
we
you
talked
go.
earlier about like how you get into cosplay, and I mean, I can just say my one generic statement, which is like, love the thing that you're cosplaying and just do it, because it doesn't matter if you look like the character or not. It helps, and you can go that road too. I cosplay Rose Tyler. I kind of look like Billie Piper, but I love that character like no other. So like that's the reason I cosplay her, not because I look even a little bit like her.
Yeah, like we said, pick something you're going to have fun in, because oftentimes the costumes aren't terribly comfortable.
And
so,
it's an expensive hobby.
you
It's
know,
a big commitment,
do something.
cosplaying. But we do it like people ask me like, why do you cosplay? I'm like, I don't know how not to. Like I just love
At this
dressing
point,
up,
yeah.
and I love these things, and I am an exuberant person, and my love of fandoms, like it's sprawled out all over my house. It is also sprawled out all over my clothes.
Would you also say maybe that bounding, if people are like, what the heck are we talking about? It's if you're doing like casual attire of said character, would you say that that's a good way for some people to maybe start with cosplay?
Oh,
Because it's
absolutely.
like casual clothes, but
If you've
like a
never
character.
cosplayed before and you have that intention, I would, especially if you're a Disney fan, look up Disney Bound, because Leslie Kay has actually laid out clothing layouts that will help guide you to how to do that if you are like super novice.
breaks down the characters, like you should be blue in this section of your body and you should be orange in this section of your body and stuff like that.
And I can tell you this has
And
changed the
it's-
way we dress.
It's similar to like you were talking about before the show, doing like a closet cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
You can do just whatever you got lying around the house. You know you got a green shirt, some green pants,
Yep.
some high boots. You're halfway to a poison ivy right there.
Yeah.
So
Like we're just people who love to dress up, and it may be a cosplay. It might just be like we're going to the Magic Castle and we're just so stoked to be like super dapper. So like we just do it.
And,
Nice.
and as we end here, just finally, for people who are big cosplay fans and they just want to get more into, you guys seem to have moved beyond just fans into almost like semi-pro to professional cosplayers. What is your advice for people that would love to move into that?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, like you don't really make a lot of money at the level that we're at, but we're at a level now where we get free admission to some conventions. We've been guests of conventions, thankfully. And part of that is simply showing up to cons, making connections. Sometimes you get lucky, you just bump into someone who runs a convention. We work very regularly with CondorCon in San Diego, and they love us, and we love them because they take really
CondorCon,
good
I've
care
never
of
heard
us.
of that.
Oh my god, Condor is actually like one of our favorite cons to do because they do in-universe classes taught by characters. So it's more like going to like a professional convention outside of pop culture where you're like, oh, I'm an expert in this.
Going to learn things.
Yeah, so we've taught as like the Doctor and River. Like,
Yeah.
we teach it. Oh, we teach tea party etiquette classes as Alice and Hatter, or I teach a tea party etiquette class, and Mr. Hatter thinks that it's his tea party and keeps interrupting me
So yeah,
loudly and often.
it's just to get into it. I mean, just go try that first thing like that. I tried Nightcrawler one time just on a whim. Bought a cat suit, sewed a couple gloves, like whatever, and
And you met Len.
just go. And, well, that was
Right?
years later, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
But for pro stuff, like, you know, you're amping up your skills, and that's like
yeah,
one thing
you
that's
just try
helping.
something that you think you can achieve, like you're talking about earlier with the filming. You know, set a small goal, one that you can achieve, and then next time a little higher. So
And then also social media, like actually,
absolutely.
like, you know,
Yeah.
you have to be posting regularly and consistently. That is the biggest thing I would say is that my personal is all over the place. So it took a lot longer to build, but the adventure effects, like post count to like actual number of like followers, it's a much like higher number because it's always the same
Focused
stuff.
content.
So when people go, they look, it's what they saw that brought them there, they follow.
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing that with us tonight. We will definitely be linking to you on our website, and also at the end of the show, everybody, you can tell everybody where to find you and follow you, and hopefully which cons you're going to be at, that they can also find you. Also, and as we finish out our show tonight, we want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart.
me too.
Same.
Solo.
Yeah.
All right, just as a little bitty warning, we might be giving out some some big spoilers here. It's been up
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, so there's probably spoilers we're going to talk about here.
I don't
so,
think you can talk about this movie without.
can
like-
we please talk about what in the world is happening with Solo nosediving? It's the
Marketing.
first weekend box office, 103 million over the 4 days, and the second weekend it dropped by 68%. I think it's down. It's less than around 30 million. So they think it's going to end maybe around 400 million worldwide if it's lucky.
I don't understand it.
It's
It's a fantastic film.
I was just in Europe and I saw a Deadpool 2 poster at every station in
Yeah.
Paris and like pretty much every other station in London. I could not literally did not see a single poster for Solo. You want to talk about
Did
they
you see what
didn't
Deadpool did with like
The movies?
movies and everything? Where
Yes,
they
yeah,
made, like,
that was
all
amazing.
cases?
Great
Yeah.
marketing
and
all over the place for that.
Versus Solo, they clearly did not invest in marketing at all.
Also, at the same
And the trailers
time,
were mediocre too.
they were okay, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's like such a divided audience on it that there's so many people that were just like, they saw that trailer and they're like, no, that looks like garbage. I'm not going to go see that.
I just felt like they gave up on it before it even started because I'm sorry, like Alice in Wonderland 2 like made more money and
I know, but and Kari, what do you think? Where did the Force Awakens crowd go? Where did the Last Jedi crowd go?
Well, Force Awakens is everybody's like, oh, we need a new Star Wars movie.
Right.
So,
It's
well,
been a
boom,
while.
they're there.
Yes.
And then it's like Rogue One, different kind of vibe, but people are like, all right, cool, this is different. Last Jedi, super divisive. We talked about that.
Super
Like,
divisive.
that's super toxic fandom of like, you like it, your opinion's wrong.
That
And it's
surprised me how toxic it is. You know?
it's so
yeah.
gross.
And then
And I think that kind of fed into what's
Yeah.
going on with Solo. Like everybody is just, if you're not with me, you're against me.
There's
kind
been a
of thing.
6-month
And-
boycott Solo movement happening
There
online.
is something
It's
to the
ridiculous.
theory that like this one didn't come out around the holiday season and there might be a little burnout.
that too. Or
Fatigue.
we
Star Wars fatigue. 5
gonna
months
say it's
after
only
the
been-
last
I don't
one.
have
It
any.
hasn't been
but-
very long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying that, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, people are still, it's still fresh in their mind too, like the last movie. Like, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet, but like, I had that when I saw the trailer, like the final trailer, I think before Deadpool, whenever, or it was Avengers, I don't remember which one, but I saw the final trailer and I was kind of like, like I had that indifference, and I've heard good things, but like I had that thought, like, and I'm not even one of those like crazy like being nitpicky and like all that stuff. Like I enjoy,
me.
I
That's
enjoy,
me.
like I enjoy the films, but I had no.
I love 'em.
I still was like, I might
think
use
it might be in my
I
top
s-
5 Star
I
Wars.
saw the trailer and I thought it looked fun, and that's exactly what the movie
It
was,
was.
for
Exactly,
me.
yeah.
Exactly.
Like, it was fun. I don't know why people are surprised
Yeah,
of
it's
like
Rogue
that
One
was
wasn't. I
the trailer.
loved Rogue One, but you didn't walk out of that like like laughing
Rogue
having a good
One,
time.
The
Super
Last
different, but
Jedi,
it was
that, like,
and
I'm depressed now.
The Force Awakens were all so intense and like
Yeah.
just really deep. And then
was
this was so
nice.
much fun. It was like a
Yeah.
it was a space
Lighthearted in a way.
Yes.
western, even including like
Yeah.
the train.
It felt like a Western,
train
which I
robbery.
love so much.
Yeah.
So, Kari, you were saying something, though, before about, oh my gosh.
Oh yes, first
Yes.
of all, I think we should just be impressed.
Sorry, I set you up and I forgot what I was
No,
going to say.
no. We should be impressed that it actually got finished. It had multiple
Yes.
directors,
Lot of
so many
trouble.
disasters along the way.
It was fraught
It
with
finished
disaster.
for what it is.
And
It's
for
great.
for a movie that having that many problems, there's a lot of other movies who have had like not half that many problems and turned out
Brave.
way worse.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it overcame those.
Okay, if
And
go
then
ahead,
there was
keep going.
something that I don't remember exactly the details, but some of the people involved with it were just being very opinionated on just their personal beliefs, and people online were not digging that, so then they're not excited what's in the movie. But people didn't like some of the stuff with Rogue One too, of like, oh, that's your guys are trying to be too political or opinion, and you're like, it's a
Okay,
movie,
let's
it's
talk-
art,
but
they're
let's talk
allowed to
about
put
that
their
for a
opinion in
second.
it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that just for a second. Because there is, and do you want to talk about it? You want me to bring it up? I mean, because I can speak. I'm not saying I can speak as my side. I say there is a big other side to this, and that I think that the marketing people need to get their hands around, and that's that all the complaining about, and we all know that they're. I hate talking about it because it's so
Divisive, yeah. It's,
this is such a divisive subject. Okay, it used to be viewed as fanboy films. And there's a big contingent of people feel that the fanboy element has gone. It's fangirl films now. And wait,
God, we have more than
as we
one
all
female
snicker, we roll
character.
our eyes, but let's
No, I'm curious. I'm like, what? Yes.
the reason is being because the first 3 films that came out after Disney bought it were 3 female-led Star Wars films. And then we get, and so Solo was the very first male-led Star Wars film.
Okay.
And so a lot of the people who grew up with the film, who claimed it for themselves, it was 80% male from the 70s, for ill or for good. That's what it was. So that part of the marketplace, by the way, I am the oldest guy in the room. I remember when that's what it was. So that part feels a little bit abandoned, a little bit, even though I think The Force Awakens is one of the best of the series. I love it. I think Rey is one of the best characters we've ever had in a Star Wars
yeah,
film.
she's fantastic.
But I do understand the complaint a little bit, especially in The Force Awakens when it did feel a little bit forced. That one felt forced, and I'm not going to break down every scene, every this scene, every that scene. You know, there's a lot of complaints because that film felt as if it was more concerned with identity politics than it was with telling a good story. And that's a big complaint that is
Wait,
fueling...
did you say Force Awakens or Last Jedi?
No, I'm sorry, Last Jedi, not Force
Oh,
Awakens.
okay.
And that's a
Okay.
big complaint that is fueling
You
these
just said
boy...
you loved it, Jim. Jeez.
I love that.
I like these, no, I like all these films.
yeah, same. I think overall
I
they're
loved Last
great. I
Jedi.
think
But I do have I have a big complaint.
about
I
Okay.
hate, and I'm going to come out and say it. What they did with Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, is it Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked both times I saw the film. I walked away.
But we
thinking,
now know Thanos.
I know. I walked away from that film feeling I was one of the people
connected.
that eventually
Yes, they're
grew into
connected.
a grudgery, begrudging that film for what they did to my hero growing up. Me and Mark Hamill were together on that one.
okay, yeah,
But,
but
he
I mean
also
every
came
story
back
has
and
to.
said a few more things after
then-
that initial statement.
But now he's back.
I personally felt that it showed like true PTSD and a pretty genuine reaction
Yeah.
to all of that. And honestly, I don't know where they could have gone with him if they wanted to go down that road with the plot. So like,
Because the end of the movie, well, I
every-
don't want to go there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Every story has to end.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
I just
we
don't think
saw-
he really trained her. I mean, it was just like, you went
Okay,
to dark.
that-
I can agree with that.
I'll stand with you on.
we
Yeah.
need a little more training montage
Yeah.
action going
Yeah.
on. I'll agree with that.
I want a Rocky montage with Ray.
Well, something that came out with this new one that I saw on Twitter going around that I was like, that's a good point. When you put them all together, they put a photo of all the leading ladies. They're all white girls.
That is
Yes.
true.
Brunettes who all look very similar.
I know.
Which I was like,
Yes.
oh, that's a good point.
In this movie,
Well,
or
Thandie
in
Newton,
all
they got rid of
three?
her.
All the new ones. Because they have,
In the-
all of them. Because they have Princess Leia,
the
they
leads.
have
leads.
Padme, they have
But just the lead.
Yes.
lead
We're just talking leads.
main. Well, because that's the point, that it's
Yeah.
the leading
Yeah.
lady. They all, especially when they're all collaged together, you go,
Right.
oh yeah, they do look
Yeah.
very
And
similar.
And I'm like, I'll give him a pass on Rey because we still have some questions about her.
Where's
is
she
true.
from? Like,
So
yeah,
for
all
her,
that.
I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
and then technically Leia to her mother, okay, fine,
Yes.
some genetics are the
but
same.
I agree.
But the lead lady in this one, it's like,
That said,
Could have had some more diversity.
I did love all of the performances, so I'm loath to be like, no, they shouldn't have cast like Emilia Clarke or whoever.
yeah, no, it's not
She was
like I would
great.
have a
She
suggestion
was.
who it
She
should
was
be.
good.
I was gonna ask that because I have seen her in like other things that aren't Game of Thrones, and I've hated every single one of them.
Really?
But this she worked for you.
I don't know. I haven't seen
She
it
hasn't
yet.
seen Solo
but-
yet.
We're ruining
Yeah.
the movie for
No,
her.
Like, no,
That's
like,
fine.
Wait,
She knew what she was getting
pretty
into.
Good. She
But,
did
like-
pretty good.
so that's why I was curious because like I've not liked her in anything, and she's not. I don't even love her in Game of Thrones, but I was. A
I
little
thought she
iffy.
was
I think
perfect. She had
she's
some restraint.
Fine.
Okay.
That
Not
was
in-
part
You're
of
saying
the
in
character.
Solo?
In Solo, she had
Okay.
a restraint that was part of the character, not
Yes.
her. That was like very clearly the character because you saw when she broke away from that restraint and she got scary.
I think Rey is far and away the best of the new female characters. I think that Rose Tico, is that her name? Rose is fantastic. I think she was completely wasted in Last Jedi. Completely
I also,
wasted.
Oh, she was fun.
I didn't need that kiss to happen.
In Rogue One.
Yeah, no,
Last
no.
Jedi.
Wait,
Wait.
Rose.
Yeah.
With
Oh, that
Finn.
was your
Rose and
Finn.
Finn.
Sorry,
Rose and Finn.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the kiss that
We
didn't
need
happen
love
in Rogue
triangles.
One.
It's
Yeah.
part of Star Wars.
But what he's saying is it may have happened so
I mean, I was
quickly.
just sitting there going, hands off, let's
I-
pose
I
this.
just-
let's
Yeah,
pose
right?
guy. Like, what are you doing?
Oh.
I think
Not
she.
to spoil for you, I'm not say who it is, but there's the character. I did visually love a character that pops up at the end. She looks so cool, and I want more info on her.
Wait, the
At
end
the end of
the last.
of Solo.
Oh, so,
One of like
the
one
Marauders.
of the Marauders, yeah.
oh
To-
yes.
Yes,
Fantastic
Like, that
character.
was a great
Yes.
character and
Yeah.
diversity
Yes.
and female, and you're just like
Everything you
Yeah.
could
tell
have
me
wanted,
more.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can we get more on that info?
Yeah.
But
that
yes,
and
we're pretty much
L3,
The only thing that, like-
Oh yeah.
Female-
Feminism bot.
Feminism bot.
That
Feminism
was
slash
fantastic.
like free the
funny.
droids
Do you
bot.
see
I
what's happening
loved
to us?
her.
Remember when Star Wars was fun and we'd have to talk about
I
all this
know.
stuff?
Why do we keep talking about this?
No, but I
No,
mean,
but
let
this
it
is the
be
thing
Star
is that
Wars.
No, we're
those
talking
things
good stuff.
were
I mean,
in
good
Star
stuff,
Wars.
but-
They've always been in Star Wars, and if you go back and actually watch them with a political mindset, like the
Star
movies
Wars.
are about fascism. They're
And like the
about
Holocaust.
Yeah, they're
stopping.
about
Yeah, they
politics.
are.
It was about good and
Politics.
evil. It was about good
So
versus evil.
I don't think it's inappropriate for a series that came from this like screw Nazis like perspective to be doing that still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't, I'd be
I think the
upset.
line, can I get you anything?
I do gotta say this one was the least subtle about their message in this point in time.
Yeah.
And I did talk to some people who were like a little turned off by that message, but they weren't really too like turned away from the message in The Last Jedi, which was the whole casino thing and the whole the best play to do like to win a war is to not participate in it, pretty much.
Yeah, I hated the casino scene.
Yeah.
It just was neat. It was lost. I wish it would have accomplished something more than setting the horses free.
Yeah.
I mean, although I love those creatures, they're
Yeah.
like
They're
really cool, gorgeous
Yeah, the way they
creatures.
made it. We don't have time to go into it, but
Yeah.
I love the way they made it. I know.
Beautiful.
But although the casino scene at the very end of the movie, we needed to see the kids because for
Yes.
what happened at the end.
100%.
That
So
was-
if that whole scene was setting up that
Bless.
scene, if
Yeah.
that's all it did,
Okay,
yeah.
so that scene, that was a game changer, which I was on board with completely.
So if you want to continue the discussion,
I know.
comment down below, and then we'll all give our handles of how you can reach out to us on social media.
But the characters are great. Lando was awesome. Chewie, all the good characters. So there's
Yes.
a lot of good
Chewie's
stuff.
performance.
It's better the second time around.
If
just
you
gotta
haven't
say.
seen Solo,
It's-
go see it.
Yeah, one
It's
more
so
thing.
fun.
Think of it more
don't-
of as a heist film, or it's not
Yeah, so it's
necessarily
like a
have
Western.
all the rules of Star Wars. There's not really that strong overarching villain. There's not like lightsabers and.
I'm just saying,
all
if you
that
like
stuff.
There's
Firefly,
one.
this was the
There-
movie
oh
you
yeah,
wanted.
there's
Don't
Yeah.
ruin it.
one, but I'm
I-
not gonna ruin it.
I
But
don't.
that was
I-
awesome.
Just very quickly, I don't understand with all these people that want like more Star Wars. Give me more Star Wars, even if they think this is too soon. Why would you not support this movie, knowing that that's just going to feed into more? Like I watched this, I want a Lando movie right now.
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
and
think we're
Donald
going to get a
Glover.
Lando movie, but
Perfect.
here's the thing: let's not hurt it by piling on top of something that was out just 6 weeks ago. You know, I do think we need to spread these out a little bit more. They're not Marvel films. Star Wars are event films, and I'm very sad this movie's not getting the attention which I think it deserves. It's great.
Absolutely.
I think Emilia Clarke is fantastic in this. I think she's one of the stronger women that we've seen in a Star Wars movie in a while. Even though people are arguing that she had to compromise her, I think she was strong. She did what she needed to do to survive.
I think she was playing the game.
Especially towards the
Playing
end.
the long game.
I love it. I think she's great in this film.
Yeah.
And I think that Alden Ehrenreich did great. Not fantastic, but he really... How can you be Han Solo after
you
Harrison
can't.
Ford?
I think he did a great
I
job.
thought he was wonderful.
I love Chewie.
I could see it in him. I'm like, yeah.
He won me over by the end of it.
Yeah, there's
I got
very...
excited when there's so many moments connected to
Yep.
the rest of Star Wars. You're just like,
the subtle
this
little-
is the thing.
Yeah.
When he
I'm a-
sat in the cockpit of the Millennium
Right?
Oh my gosh!
for the first
The
time.
very first time sitting in the cockpit, and the very first time that Chewie
sat
sits
with
down.
him.
Oh my god! And
you
what a
right there.
perfectly written moment too, because they didn't lean into it. They
Yep.
let it happen.
Exactly. It's not like, hey everybody, let's stop and watch this. Nope, it just happened.
Yep.
They had to do it in the middle of like a serious action sequence
Yep.
too. Like gave it weight.
By the way, I did have to throw the point of consternation out there just to keep this argument going.
And the
here.
other thing we didn't
But
bring
there
up
is
just
something the marketer should think of. I do
Well,
think
the
that.
other thing too is Star Wars has so many stories. I'd be more interested to see some of the stories that we know nothing about.
Yep, and I
Absolutely.
hope that's what the Game of Thrones creators are going to do, because they've been given a trilogy. Ryan Johnson's been given a trilogy. I wish they would have given him a trilogy and keep him away from The Last Jedi, is my opinion. But anyways,
And I agree with one of our viewers watching that if Phil Lord and Chris Miller would have stayed on board, it could have been funnier and a little more fun. But I think that kind of threw a little bit into it. But I really enjoyed it. But I mean, I don't have any complaints. But I would have been interested to see their version of it. And I was very disappointed as someone that's met them, cool guys, and
Luke worked
big
with
fan
them.
of their films. Yeah,
and
I feel like in 20 years we're gonna get a Comic-Con panel where we see like
the lost footage.
yeah, because they did that with
a
the
Star Wars
Superman
story.
2 that never was. And
oh yeah,
yeah, and that was an amazing panel too.
Guys,
listen.
What about this, real quick? Hold
Yeah.
on. So we had the so this was pretty much like a heist movie, like a Western heist movie.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we also had Rogue One, which is kind of like a
War movie.
covered up kind of
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
you know. So I've been spinning this idea in my head for like ever since I saw Solo. I want an original tale about pod racing. And I'm talking about like a kid who's probably like an underdog, or maybe a kid who's like coming up in the game in the ranks of pod racing.
One who has like, I don't know, some sort of high midichlorian count, and he just kind of
No.
rocks
I was like,
it.
we had that
I was
already.
gonna say that sounds like
And he's
Phantom
coached
Menace.
by a really racist alien. that-
Yeah.
I'm just
I think that
saying
sounds great.
though.
Anthony, it's a
but, like,
terrible
what if-
idea. What are you
No,
talking
I'm
about?
saying-
No, let him
They did
finish.
that-
Let him finish.
Okay.
It'll be a sports racing movie
Yeah.
in the Star Wars universe.
But like, what if it was cars in the Star Wars?
It's Anakin's father.
No.
We didn't know, although he was
you know that.
supernaturally
No,
born,
it can
correct?
Yeah.
it can be
Yeah.
self-contained.
No, that could work.
It can be self-contained. It doesn't have to
Awesome.
be related to
Yeah, it could
anything
be
else.
its
Do
own
all
thing.
the genres within the Star Wars universe.
No, you know,
That
do
would
the
be
Sebulba
interesting.
story,
Waiting for a
and
horror
we can
movie.
just see his coming up and why he wound up being such a jerk at the end, and like all the terrible things that led him. That let's do that. Let's see innocent Sebulba at the beginning.
I agree, Anthony. Explore stories within the universe,
Yes.
but they can be different than what we expect.
No, I do like that. I like the idea
Yeah.
of things that we've kind of sort of seen, but we don't know
Or
anything
from the
about.
books, even the cartoons,
Yep.
and like there's so many other cool characters and stories that like would be nice to explore.
What I loved about this movie is that my mom called me as soon as she watched it, and she had all these questions, and I was like, okay, but you need to be watching this cartoon and this cartoon.
Yeah,
and
this one
cartoon.
referenced to cartoons.
So your mom
a
knew
lot,
about that,
too.
and it also was in the comic books as well. Like what was the Marauders? The Marauders, they were part of the Enfys. I forgot about it, but they're actually the beginning of the rebellion. They are starting the rebellion with the Marauders.
Yeah, like
That's what
way
was so
before.
cool.
Yeah,
So I think my favorite part of this conversation was I was like, and then like the Clone Wars, she was just like, I've seen that. I'm like, no, mom, you saw the Mega Mini series that was like in like 2004,
No,
but
no.
like
All
we're
right.
talking about a different series, yeah.
Everybody, this conversation would go on
I was
forever.
gonna say I could talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
We need to end it here so we can go outside and keep
Right,
on
we're
talking.
We're gonna
All
Star
right.
Wars. Yeah, let's go get drinks and talk Star Wars. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll talk to you.
Casa Vega.
Casa Vega afterwards. All right.
Did we
If you-
just say where we go?
If you guys are in the LA area,
Right.
we'll be at
Check it out.
Casa Vega drinking margaritas in about 25 minutes.
Oh,
but
so
if you're
down.
not there, Please tell all your friends about the show here. We had so much fun tonight. Continue to talk about Star Wars. Continue to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. Check the site out for these people over... These people.
What do you
I'm
mean
so
these?
sorry.
What do you mean these people?
There we go.
What do you mean these people?
I'm not gonna like
I
that.
don't know.
Movie. For Scott, Sarah, and Neil, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Where can
Thanks
folks
for having
find
us.
you guys?
On
And where will you be next?
The Adventure Effect on Instagram, on Facebook, on Etsy.
We'll be at San
Adventure
Diego
Effect.
Comic-Con, but we don't know yet if we have any official scheduled appearances. We usually do, but we just
it was
don't.
like a maybe, and
We're
then
not
it
there
kind of
yet.
fell in our lap.
We
so.
got our room like a week ago, so
Yeah.
like last year around this time we got an email like, hey, do you want to be on 2 panels? And we were like, okay. So
Sure.
Panels are about to be now, so we'll
but
know
then
soon.
our next one will be San Diego WhoCon, if you are a Doctor Who fan. And for me personally, I am that princess girl on Instagram and everything else.
And I'm Lost Boy Cosplay, but not super active on anything except maybe Instagram.
But
so.
together you are...
The Adventure
Adventure
Effect.
Check them out. Where can...
You can find me on social media at KT_Christine or Katie's_fairy tale. That's my cosplay and work one. And Twitter is the same as my at Katie Christine.
And you going to San Diego?
Yeah, I'll be at San Diego.
All right.
And I'm Cheeseman on the Couch. You can find me on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch and theconguy.com.
And I'm Kari Lane. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And I will be at Anime Expo and Comic Con.
And she has so many shows here in
lot of
AfterBuzz.
shows here.
Please follow her. Follow us here at theconguy.com. That is theconguy, DOTCOM. You can follow me at ConGuy Jim. Thank you for watching our show tonight. We had so much fun. Sorry we went a little bit long, but we had so much fun. We had so much to talk about.
We had a lot of chatting going on here, too, so
Yay!
continue
Good.
that.
Continue to
Let's do
chat.
so.
Leave comments
It was
down below.
maybe like 100 or something.
All
It was
right,
like a
guys.
lot.
We'll see you soon. Watch us next week. We'll be back with The Scare Guy. See you then.
See ya.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.